right, it's time for Amanda and Diane's Knit Along.
I am very excited for this, and I've got, like you said, a jump start.
You got a jump, so you got a peek of what we have going on here. We want to invite our special guests this morning. We have Laura Regan and Kevin Jones from Created for You by Laura.
Correct.
So, okay, tell me about your business. You dye yarn.
Yes, we dye yarn. So that is, I'm a knitter by trade. So actually the business started with my finished garments, and we morphed into a yarn dyeing business. So Kevin and I both do the yarn dyeing, and we traveled to many festivals around the country selling our yarns. We've been doing it about 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
It's our later in life career. I left the corporate world, he left the restaurant world, so that mixing and the baking and the chefing was a perfect fit for him to take on the dyeing aspect of the business, and then I usually do the festivals and sell the yarn.
I love this because it's a passion now.
Yes.
And as you said, later in life career. I love that you're taking the time to do what you want to do. And you've been knitting for how long?
Oh, let's say 40 years or so.
Yeah. It's been about 4 months for me.
You'll get there.
Yeah, but I've learned so much already. We have some beautiful items. You're wearing one here too.
Yes.
But these are some of your
So these are some of the items that we've made with our yarn. So I've displayed the yarns above. This is painted pullover by Caitlin Hunter. This is a tank, which is going to be in the yarn that we're going to show how we dye. This is Falling with Grace. This is Fantail by Wool and Pine. This is the skein that created that garment. This down here is something new that started in the fall. This is called assigned pooling. So the yarn actually is dyed to make the design versus a pattern.
Okay.
So these are all dyed with about 1/3 to 1/4. And when this shows up on your needle, you do a special stitch.
Okay.
So Dawn Barker, an indie dyer out of Texas, started this in the fall with, this is her pattern called Calico, and then a lot of indie dyers have picked up the dyeing trend for that. So it's kind of fun, like you as the knitter or crocheter can create, and nothing will ever look the same.
I feel like I could do that easier than the pattern.
Yes, this
You
is
don't
the
have to
pattern
read
for
a
you.
pattern, right?
I've never heard of this, so this is for you.
That is really great.
Yeah,
I
and
love
then
that.
we do have some crocheted garments. This is a garment that is crocheted. A lot of people, when I bring this to festivals, they're like, that's crocheted.
Wow.
Yes, every item on here is crocheted. It's called Teotihuacan. Not sure I'm saying that right, but Nomad Stitchers is the designer, and she's fabulous. She has wonderful patterns out there.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Our yarns can also be used for weaving. This was my COVID activity. I taught myself rigid heddle loom. So you can also use this is a slub yarn, so you'll see the texture running through it.
Great
Kind
stuff.
of interesting.
And a little bit of everything.
So this is all my wardrobe.
That's it's a great wardrobe, and it's very in style right now. Everybody is really wanting to buy these knitting crocheted items. So, Kevin, you're the dyeing machine, the yarn dyeing machine.
That is my nickname.
Yeah. So, how did you figure out how to do this?
Well, my wife taught me how to do this, and I started by helping her out, and then it just kind of morphed into more and more and more and more. I left the restaurant industry, and I work full-time for my wife. That's what I say on my Facebook page. So, but that's what we do.
Who comes up with the colors? Do you, or does Laura do that?
Both of us.
And we see color differently, which is real interesting. He'll put colors together, and I'll be like, okay, honey. And then I'm like, wow, that's really good. So it makes a different look at color.
Yeah. Awesome.
Everybody's different perspective.
Yes.
I made this really ugly yarn, and we went to the first festival. Laura's like, that's never going to sell. It was the first yarn we sold ever. So
there you go.
It just
she's going to listen to you from now on. Maybe. Yeah. So you brought a crock pot with you.
Right.
I imagine when you're dyeing at home or where you work, you have a bigger.
We have more of like an industrial size cookers and steamers, and but we still do small batch. We only do up to 8 skeins of yarn at a time. We want to kind of keep it that way.
Okay.
So, I mean, this is all the bare yarn that we brought, all the different bases that we work with.
And we can do dyeing of any kind of yarn, correct?
That is correct. Every yarn might require something a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
So
This yarn has no
Has a little-
specs. I
yeah.
thought you did that as the dyer.
nope. It comes that way. That is
That's a neb.
yeah.
It's
A
called.
neb, there we go.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
we're going to dye. We're going to take a quick break. We'll get our gloves on.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
and
we
we're
have
going
the
to come
setup.
back. Stay with us. We're going to get dyeing.
All right.